We don't wanna be enemies. I got men with me, I got wings. You gon' step on my ship, you gon' mess with the king.
Welcome to more Fanime. What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna be reviewing chapter 1082 of the One Piece manga. Yes! And I gotta say, this chapter is, spoilers, the biggest moment in Buggy's history. Buggy the Clown! Buggy D Clown. This is his greatest moment, inspirational moment, whatever you want to call it, motivational moment. Yes! I am so stoked for Buggy right now. He just went up. He's in my top 10 villains of all time. And he just went up a notch. He's not number one, but he's moving up there. He's almost in the top 5. Top 10 for sure. This dude's killing it as an emperor. Honestly, I got so much more respect for Buggy after this chapter. But before I get too far into spoilers, how about y'all give me a comment down below, a like, and a subscribe. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithms. Let's dive right in, folks. Chapter 1082 has a cover page request. Looks like Chopper mistakes Zeus for cotton candy. It's actually pretty cute. I like it. I like that it's incorporating Zeus and Chopper. This is something, Chopper doesn't get to do a whole lot of interesting things often enough, in my opinion. Especially since the time skip. So at least put him on the cover. Give him a cool little spot there. But let's get into it. Here we go. Chapter 1082. First page, we find out that T-Bone, the dude that Zoro fought back at the Water 7 arc, or saga, the dude that was trying to stop them from reaching Enies Lobby, T-Bone, look him up if you don't remember him. Zoro slashed that dude down, but he was no joke. Apparently he was a vice admiral and he has been murdered. This is One Piece, folks. One Piece does not just hand out deaths like cotton candy, but right now T-Bone is, I would have to say, 99% chance dead. It's One Piece, so he could somehow have survived. You never know. But he's dead. Unless he made the ultimate sacrifice and is like hiding out so this old man can get this money from the Cross Guild. Doubt it. Sad though, because it was a character I fondly remember. He was a tough SOB, but a good man to the people and, a good Marine. He truly believed in the ideals of being a Marine, protecting the people, for the people, by the people, that old saying. He was a real warrior. And the fact that he got taken down by some normal-ass citizen is surprising. And that's the one thing that makes me go, like, how did T-Bone get killed by this kid? Or this old man, actually. Because, he's tough. He was going to take down a train. A moving train on the sea. He survived a slash from Zoro. It doesn't quite make sense. Maybe the old man just really surprised him or got him in his sleep. That's the only headcanon I can go with. Unless, like I said, T-Bone is doing the dude a solid and just pretending like he's dead so his family can get paid. Which we might find out. From there, we see Sengoku and Chizuru, I'm not sure how to say it, the old lady that we saw back at Dressrosa, and they're chit-chatting. They're talking about the Cross Guild and how the Marine bounties are really changing everything. Really, the Cross Guild is causing the Marines the most headaches right now, if you think about it, because now the Marines have to watch their backs while defending the people that they're watching their backs from. I probably could have said that better. They have to keep an eye on everybody. They don't know who's trying to secretly kill them to collect the money because there are so many poor people dying every day, civilians starving to death, thousands in certain countries. It really depends on how much money your country has, and that's kind of a realistic fact in our real world here, which is pretty sad. And now that there's bounties on the people who keep the law in order, it's got to be effing it up and totally crashing the morale of the Marines, I have to say, as they say here as well, and I agree. And Sengoku's like, hey, where's Garp? Hina walks in and she's like, oh, Garp went with your granddaughter to Suryu, and they're headed to Hachinosu Pirate Island, and they're going toe-to-toe with the Blackbeard pirates, possibly Kuzan right now. And they're like, what? You know, they didn't know. Well, Garp was, you know, he probably doesn't talk about his things he does on a regular basis. Maybe he thought Sengoku would try and stop him, so he didn't tell him. He's probably one of the only men who could stop Garp from trying to save Kobe, but Kobe is his prodigy, and he's gonna make it happen. Speaking of, I wish we got to see more of that fight, and maybe next week or when the next chapter drops, we will get to see more of that fight. I really hope Oda doesn't cut off Kuzan versus Garp so early like he did with Law and Blackbeard, because I think that fight probably would have been fucking fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, the last 5 or so chapters of Egghead Island have been so good. So fucking good. Oda, you're killing it right now. Egghead Island might go down as the greatest chapter post-time skip. I'm thinking it. There's so many big moments happening. It's almost like the Reverie on roids, because it's such a big arc. It's got all these huge moments happening outside of actual Egghead Island, which is nutso-butso. Obviously, it's not going to top pre-time skip stuff for me, because Water 7 is perfect. But damn, is this chapter good. It's top 5 for sure of Egghead Island. After this, we jump over to the Cross Guild, giving the old man who killed T-Bone his, they're protecting him from the Marines, and, letting him join Buggy's crew, and also sending the reward for T-Bone's death, a Vice Admiral, probably worth 300 million, I am guessing, that's my thought. Being sent to his family so that they can live like kings for a while. Maybe they just won't starve to death. Maybe they can leave the country that they're in. So many good things in a way that the Cross Guild is doing, but it's causing deaths of good people like T-Bone. There are mean Marines that probably deserve to be caught and bountified or murdered. It'd be interesting to see if they ever bring a Marine into the Cross Guild that's alive. Do you get more money for that? Or does death count as an equal payment? You know, alive or dead, you usually lose a little percentage if they're dead, because they want to use, they want to do public executions. Could you imagine a Marine public execution on the same scale as Marine Ford? That would be an arc, wouldn't it? And then Kobe trying to save him instead of Luffy trying to save him. Kill Nepo as a public execution would be nutso-butso. We see Buggy the Clown congratulating the dude, saying, yes, join my crew. You're a badass and a hero. Don't be so humble. And Buggy goes on and on. Eventually, one of his crewmates comes in and he's like, Buggy! I love Buggy's little henchmen, by the way, the ones that just love him unconditionally. They just really look like actual pirates, kind of like the Blackbeard pirates. I love it. They look scummy, and I just wish some of them had a little bit more character development. Maybe that will happen down the line. But other than the characters we already knew from his original crew and Mr. 3 Galdino, which I hope they have more Mr. 3 going forward, I've actually been waiting for more Cross Guild content and more information on these bounties. And now that we're getting them, I'm loving it. I'm so stoked and so for the idea of marine bounties. And the first time I heard it, I thought, is he really going to pull that same trick with the bounties, Oda? I think we gotta get it, and pirates are the ones with the bounties. No, I was wrong. This new bounty system, it rocks, and it definitely... It's just fun. It's fun. It's new. It's fresh. It's hot. It's what's in. But yeah, one of his crewmates comes in and says, Buggy, we finished the ship that will honor the name of the Cross Guild upon it. He takes Buggy, he takes Mihawk and Crocodile, and they're like, come on, vice captains, come on, Captain Buggy, here's the ship, and it just looks like a bigger version of his old ship with a giant clown as the mast, and you just see Crocodile and Mihawk fuming like, do we really have to ride in that? Where's my face? I'm sure Crocodile was wondering. I'm the best here. Arr, I got a hook for a hand. They end up taking Buggy into the captain's quarters where they can talk about what's going on here with the Cross Guild. A little work meeting of sorts where they're beating the shit out of Buggy to a near death. Once again, like the last time we saw them, cutting his head off, hanging him up. And, Buggy's like begging them, just please, just kill me. Mihawk and Crocodile are kind of telling him to shut up while they talk about business. And Crocodile's like, we gotta have a plan. You always gotta have a plan. I spent like 10 years on Alabasta really sinking my teeth in to try and get the ancient weapon. It didn't work out, but you gotta have a plan. They always work, except that one time that wasted 10 years of my life. And, Mihawk's like, yeah, and plus we need some fucking power, bro. If you want to build this utopia you keep talking about. So Crocodile's going back to the same plan. Building maybe a pirate-like utopia where he can have a material or a military state where they can control some actual power, kind of like what Kaido had going on for him. That seems like to be the MO for a lot of guys. Look at what happened at Dressrosa and Alabasta, and what's currently possibly going to happen at the Pirate Island if Blackbeard is able to make it part of, a state recognized by the world government. All that fun stuff. But I'm glad they're not going to be doing that because Buggy speaks up regardless of the consequences. And he tells them a sad story about how he used to look up to Shanks when they were part of the Goldie Rogers Pirate King crew. You got to think about this. Buggy's arc is just absolutely amazing, failing upward into becoming a warlord and an emperor, building a crew, joining forces with people like Galdino and Alvida and his original crew in the army he got at Impel Down, which we still don't know their names. Maybe you guys do. Comment them down below. I do not. And now his vice captains, Crocodile, Mihawk, and they might think, well, we're just using this dude as a figurehead. But at this point, after this chapter, after Buggy speaks his mind, I'm thinking this he's dead set on becoming king of the pirates. Seriously. He looked up to Shanks, and this story unfolds in this chapter where he's like, aren't you going to go become the next king of the pirates, Shanks? And Shanks like, you know what? No, I've changed my mind. I have other plans, but I'm still going to be a pirate. And Buggy's like, I've lost all respect for you, and you lost that map, you son of a bitch, of Captain John's treasure, which we still haven't talked about in a while in the story. Buggy takes his, storms off. He gets his head to drop down near a snail phone type scenario, and he broadcasts in front of Crocodile, in front of Mihawk, and he tells everybody, he's like, wealth, fame, power, why don't we just take it all? Let's go after the One Piece. I want to become king of the pirates. Mihawk and Crocodile are PO'd, to say the least. But I respect Buggy. And the thing that bugs me, get it, is Mihawk. The minute he hears this, like, don't you guys want to live your dream? Be the #1 pirate like back when you were kids? Like Goldie Roger? I don't respect the fact that Mihawk's response to that was, you want me to have to fight Straw Hat, Blackbeard, and Shanks, red-haired Shanks? You're crazy, Buggy. You're a psycho, man. You're really drinking your own Kool-Aid, buddy boy. And Mihawk, who I thought was a warrior that seeked out challenges, decides to back down. I really do hope this speech, even though it PO'd our boy Crocodile, I hope Mihawk changes his mind. He's like, He's got a point. This son of a bitch has got a point. This son of a bitch just earned my praise. He has just earned my respect. Because we could have murdered him right here and right now. And yet he tells us to stop being bitches. And you know what, Crocodile? We are being bitches. It's time for us to step up. Why do we got to be the fourth emperor group? Why can't we also go after the greatest treasure of all time? The One Piece. And then Crocodile, you know, he also wanted to be king of the pirates back in the day, but after his dreams were crushed by Whitebeard and then again by Luffy, he probably was like, no, fuck it, let's just go back to the plan, we'll just get our own fucking empire. We'll take the slow game, another 10 years. No! Buggy says now. Shanks is after the treasure now, which has inspired Buggy to do the same. I have the same rank as that red-haired asshole. And it's time. It's time. It's time for Buggy to rise. I heard Nux Taku talk about it a long time ago. A long time ago, Nux Taku, another YouTuber, mentioned his theory that Buggy could become the greatest pirate of all time. He could become king of the pirates by the end of the story, and at this point, I believe that could be true. It'd be a hell of a shock to the fandom, I'm sure, especially like I mentioned, where Buggy comes from. Way back in the East Blue when we first met him, I thought Buggy, this dude is a one-note villain. We might see him a couple times. He might end up being a Team Rocket type character where he's blasting off again every other week. No, sirree Bobo. He has one of the greatest story arcs in the entire series thus far. He is the greatest possible antagonist of the entire series. We will have to wait and see how it ends, but wow, when I was reading Buggy's speech, mind was blown, people. Mine was blown, and I'm here to back Buggy's plan. Buggy for King of the Pirates. I'm here for it. Oh yeah, any one of the four. Honestly, Shanks is my least that I'd like to be King of the Pirates, personally, just because he's OP as shiz. It would be more impressive for somebody like Buggy to win it, even over Straw Hat Luffy. But personally, I want to see my boy Luffy, my favorite anime character of all time, fulfill his goals. But we'll have to wait and see what the Oda gods decide for us. And this isn't even the end of the chapter, folks. The last little bit, we find out that Sabo, shocker, is still alive. And not only alive, he brought that little girl from Luisia Kingdom that Ace helped all those years ago before his execution and whatnot. And a large group of civilians from Luisia, a ship from Luisia Kingdom, and they were on their way. Sabo was on his way to the Revolutionary Army home base. Just to give everybody the info on what happened at the Reverie, we're finally gonna get the information we've always wanted to hear. What major event happened? Are we gonna find out who Im-sama is? All big things are coming. We also find out more about Kuma, sort of. You know, they're all sad that Kuma escaped and went back to the Navy headquarters and whatnot, back to Mary Joa. There must be some kind of thing within Kuma that made him want to go back, but it doesn't make sense because fucking Dr. Vegapunk made Kuma, so why would he put that in him? There must be some kind of nefarious plan for Kuma to destroy the Red Line or something crazy. We just don't know yet. Has it already happened? Is he in shackles once again? But you know, Sabo's just happy to be alive, and Sabo's a tough SOB, and he's going to tell us the secrets hopefully in the next chapter. Sabos return is not as exciting since he's had these, life and death experiences over and over throughout the series. But finding out more about the Reverie, Oda, tell me now. I have no idea what chapter 1083 is going to be because we keep jumping from place to place, from person to person. Oda is utilizing this world he built. We could go back to the East Blue next chapter and see some cool shit. We could see Kid rise from the grave and go home and say, fuck it, I tried. We could see Law and Beppo show up at Egghead Island. We have to see. I feel like Oda keeps dropping these big nuggets of lore and history and flashbacks and whatnot, and giving characters like Buggy the best chapter they've had to date, because he knows something big is coming. Something bigger than we've seen so far. And if Oda drops that nugget, that bomb in Egghead Island, and I mean figurative bomb, just an epic moment that changes the entire One Piece world. Maybe Eneru shows up. I do not know. But if Oda does that, something bigger than we've seen so far in Egghead Island, something bigger than we've seen so far since the time skip, Egghead Island arc might be the numero uno arc post-time skip. This is more Fanime. What did you think of chapter 1082? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you later.